Greg, your turn, and then Marion.
Buenos dias, amigos. Good morning. Gregg Bush. I represent Neora. We're a 360-degree holistic, effective approach to anti-aging for men and women, skincare products for the face, body, wellness, hair care, weight management. Our flagship product is our Age IQ Night Cream. The formulation is clean, performs at a very high level. It's 128 Australian dollars. We're having a big event here in 2 hours featuring Jeff Olson, a Neora expansion event. I will put the flyer in the link there for anybody that might be curious or interested. Gregg Bush with Neora.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you, Greg. This brings us to our speaker spot. One moment while I set up my screen. So as I'm doing this, every week at Business at Breakfast, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group further insights into their business. They can enlighten the group a bit about themselves, or they can seek assistance from the group. The time is theirs to use however they would like. Today, we did have someone who was down to speak, but for whatever reason, he's been detained elsewhere. So I am replacing him with someone else. Mr. Bush, good to see you out today. And when we were looking at your stuff before, I thought, please don't be missing. Actually, to be honest, I don't think we normally get you at the 10 a.m. So it's really nice to have you as a speaker for the 10 a.m. group. Greg and I have been networking at Happy Neighborhood Project together for 4 years. We're not quite in the same groups anymore. I think we started in Australia. That's how I met you. You used to come across it. Well, you still go across the Australia one, but I don't go to the Australia one so much anymore. I'm in some of the others. But from Australia, Business at Breakfast. And so we've been in and out of groups together, for the last, this is our 5th year, which is pretty exciting that we've known each other for that long. So Greg's from Texas? West Texas. He's one of those West Texas cowboys. He can speak Spanish. He's a Neora consultant. He's you do it. You do your thing. You got up to 8 minutes. I'm going to do this. If you take 8 minutes, I'm going to do this. But here's what I want to hear.
I'll ramble on, and maybe you and I can go back and forth and continue the conversation.
All right, here's what I want to hear, though. I want you to start with your elevator pitch again, because not everybody knows you. Because you're in the 10 a.m. group, not everybody has met you before. So I want you to start with your elevator pitch again, just so that then everybody goes, oh, that guy, right? So that then we get used to hearing it again. And then I want the history of how did you discover Neora, and how is it that you ended up with Neora? And then after that, stop talking. We'll ask you questions. So just your elevator pitch and the history of you to Neora.
Fair enough. Well, buenos dias. When I started this, depends what time of the world we're at. I am Gregg Bush. I represent a global marketing company called Neora. We are a 12-year-old plus company, record-setting company, decades of experience, anti-aging skincare products for men and women for the face, body, wellness from the inside out, our Prolux hair care system, and our Neora Fit weight management system. Our flagship product, or one of our superstars, is our Age IQ Night Cream product. The formulation is clean, performs at a very high level, addresses all areas of aging. You also have its companion, which I love in the morning. It's the daytime moisturizer. So Australian dollars for the night cream is 128. It's through our Smart Shop order. So I ask people, who does your hair? Who does your nails? Who's your physical fitness instructor? Those are all great referrals for me. So a little bit about how I got started in this great business, right? A little bit about my background. So I do live in the great country of Texas, USA. We do things big in Texas, right? And I was actually born in Mexico, about 4 hours south. My father was a mining engineer. So the first 12 years of my formative life, empecé a hablar español, no hablar inglés. But then I started learning both languages, both cultures. My dad retired, and here we are. So I went to the local university here. I studied business, international marketing. I did packaging. You know, when you go to your store, you buy your big plasma TV. You got the box, you got the foam, you got the plastic. I used to sell those raw materials over to Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico, right across the bridge over here. So I did that for many years in the building materials industry. I was introduced to direct sales back in 1997 with a company called Legal Shield, prepaid legal. I had no experience in this. They didn't teach me how to be entrepreneurial, quite frankly. They taught me to be an institutionalized employee in college, which was not a bad thing, but I got my feet wet. So I jumped in, fired a couple of bosses at the time. So I'd say, I'm going to do this legal thing, employee benefits. I built a big organization, big book of business. Fast forward, a gentleman, if you can see here, by the name of Jeff Olson, author of the book, The Slight Edge, and founder of Neora, merged his personal development company back in '99 with this Oklahoma-based legal shield company, brought, personal development, the Slight Edge philosophy. There you go, exactly. So in the 2000s, because of his mentoring teachings, we took off with prepaid legal here in the US and Canada. Well, he leaves in 2010 to start what we know as Neora. They call him the millionaire maker. He's my business partner, along with his daughter, Amber Olson Rourke. She's a chief marketing officer, dynamic woman. So I've been with the company ever since. At first, people say, Greg, you need to try this night cream. Night cream, I don't use cream. I use a bar soap and Oxima. Talk to my wife, a friend of ours who was telling us about this. I peeked over to what Jeff was doing when he left Legal Shield after being on the executive staff to start this company. I wasn't interested until I went to a presentation. I saw the bottle night cream product, one country, flying off the shelves. My wife got into the business because of the products. We ran out of products. She goes, Greg, why don't you just come into the business? I've built teams before. I'm going to do it again. So here I am. I do Neora exclusively. The products work. The formulations are very unique and different. Typically, when our formulations or molecules come out, they're 3 years ahead of the mass market. Whether it's our skincare products, our Neora Fit weight management system, the fat browning concept here in the US. So yeah, the products work. And then our sister company is Live Happy Magazine. So who needs some more happiness in their life in this day and age, right? So I come basically from corporate America, 27 plus years experience in direct sales. So I believe in networking. I started doing a lot of networking, personal development. Yes, The Slight Edge is a great book. I listen to a lot of John Maxwell podcasts. Because guess what? Either somebody's going to discipline me or I'm going to discipline myself. So I chose to do this. The way Misty and I met, I got involved back during the pandemic. I came across this Happy Neighborhood Project Texas thing. I go, this is cool, man. Tell me about Zoom. I had no idea. Who here uses Zoom, by the way? Do I have show of hands? That was a trick question. But so yeah, I started coming down to Australia because, hey, we opened up the Australia, New Zealand market, Philippines. I got to know Misty over the years. We kind of hit it off. We got some things in common, the Slight Edge, and I've gotten to meet some great friends down under. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here with you all today. Okay. Things have kind of changed a little bit in the other groups, but here I am. So I believe in just working on myself, making myself a better version, today than I was yesterday, and just moving forward, building relationships, and just looking at the vision of our company, where we're at. Misty, throw me a couple questions.
All right. Who's got some questions for Greg? All right. Let's go with the night cream, right? So for those who don't wear cream, I don't wear cream. I'll tell you a story. I don't wear cream like at all. But every now and then the water's a bit heavy up here. And so, sometimes it feels like your skin is peeling off. And since I don't wear cream, it's 38 degrees here on any given day. So in American terms, it's like 100 degrees any other day. As a result, I definitely don't wear cream during the day because it drives me nuts. But at night, you don't know it's on. You're fast asleep. So it's a good way to fix everything back up again, but in the middle of the night, because you can just sleep through it. So
my wife uses it a lot more than I do. I love the daytime moisturizer and the Illuma Boost vitamin C. It goes on like a mask. It does not stain your pillowcase. So yeah, it goes on, and it's a great product. And the combination products, 24/7 protection, amongst our other products as well.
Excellent.
I have a question, if I may.
Yep, and then Heather. So yeah, go Matt.
Where do you manufacture that cream? Is it locally produced in Texas, or which part of the globe does it physically get made? Is my question.
Great question. So our headquarters is in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. That's where our Jeff Olson and our company is. We work with our key scientific partners, our Signum Biosciences, Jeff and Max and Jeffrey Stock, a father-son team doing research at Princeton University. They first came to us with their EHT brain health supplement because they do a lot of research. They have been for Alzheimer's. So we have ingredients sourced from different parts of the world. And, we just, a few years back, we had a relationship with Cosmax. They're a Korean scientific conglomerate. They might still be doing some stuff for us. So we get different products, but they're manufactured. We have, plants here in the US, but they're just sourced in different, potentially, it depends the product. in multiple countries, but for the most part, our main product line is here in the U.S.
Excellent. Well done, Heather.
Yeah, I put in the chat that I love John Maxwell too. So I just thought I'd ask you, have you heard him speak in person, and what's your favorite book of his?
You know what? I have not seen him in person. I just listen to audio books because in the mornings I'll get up. I'm always on the move. You see me moving. I don't sit. I'll listen to podcasts. So just, John Maxwell, one of his sayings is you must disassociate yourself from people that do not appreciate you or who you are or what you do. And just the philosophies, instead of plugging into all this crap on TV and the news every single day in the world, him, Jim Rohn, who here is familiar with Jim Rohn, passed away a few years ago. Just be aware of the average of the 5 people you associate with. Don't wish it was easier, wish it were better. So I listen more than I read, but the Slide Edge book, it's a great read. If y'all haven't read it, I would suggest you get it.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And the 5 levels of leadership too. Yeah, just awesome. I love his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jim Rohn's books. Jim Rohn, you read them exactly as he speaks, which has this book, which has this pause as he talks. If you
He was kind of, I actually saw him once at one of the prepaid legal conventions years ago, and it just his philosophies. He was my first mentor when I got into this relationship marketing, direct sales, entrepreneurship. And I remember I literally burnt out the cassette tape, but it just his fundamentals.
Yeah, this is my favorite Jim Rohn book, right? 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. He's the first person ever that I highlighted anything in a book for. And here's what it is. As you read this book, imagine that you were shopping. Take and use only the ideas that apply to you. You certainly don't have to buy into everything that every person says. And I've just gone, it taught me a different way to read books. So sometimes my plan is to read a whole book, but I don't get through it. And I just think, you know what? I think I got my good idea already. I'll pop it on the shelf and do something else. So, yeah.
Of course, we have Tony Robbins. Matter of fact, Jeff Olson, he used to, when he was writing the manuscript for the Slide Edge, he actually went to Arizona, to Scottsdale, and camped out there with Jim Rohn for a couple of weekends. And that's where a lot of these guys, you hear them say these same things like Zig Ziglar, Maxwell, and all these cats. They pretty much got it from the same source, but it's in their own voice.
Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all of those. I mean, Tony Robbins even started with Jim Rohn. Like, he was like the godfather of being able to say it. All right, Greg, last year question. So you did a lot of sip and samples last year. You decided, because we'd been out networking together for quite some time, and then at some point last year you've gone, go back to basics. What was the basics? Because I know with COVID everything went online, but the basics was get out, talk to people live, and go out, sip and sample, sip and sample. So tell me, for all the sip and samples and all the work that you did, how was the results? How did that turn out for you, going back to the basics?
Well, I remember the first one I did a year ago, and I think you told me I planned this event. It was going to be the launch for 2023, and I gave you the date, and you checked the weather forecast. You go, oh, Greg, you're about to get 70, 80 mile an hour winds. The whole Arizona desert's going to come by. I remember that one morning. I mean, it was going to be like a blowout thing, man. People are going to come, and it's brand new. The winds came 80, 90 miles an hour. The whole dust was flying in the air. It was cold. Everybody on their phones here in El Paso was getting emergency broadcasts. Stay home. Don't go out. Don't go out. And it kind of was a buzzkill. But guess what? I kept doing them anyway. So I was just consistent and persistent. Sometimes people show up. Sometimes they don't show up. But it just duplicating. I had some success, enrolled some preferred customers, brand partners. And we just starting all over again this year, especially with the accolades of our company having countersued the Federal Trade Commission in the U.S. and beat the Federal Trade Commission. They wanted to shut us down because we were acting, quote unquote, like a pyramid. Yeah. And doing some other things. They sued us 7 years ago. They had open books. Jeff Olson 4 years ago countersued them. End of September, the top lady judge at the top federal court ruled 100% in favor of Neora. No other company has done that. And Jeff Olson spent a lot of money. So this year, the fact that it's just a new year, and basically we've got the green light to go. Yeah. I'm loading up my sip and sample schedules. Moving forward this year, just to share our products and the business model, because people want to know, is this a safe place to do business, Greg?
Yeah.
And yes, it is. And we are built to win. So
Yeah.
yeah, this year, I'm going to load up on sipping samples, and we have them all over the country, in Australia, New Zealand. So I ask people, hey, who do you know? Here's the invitation. Here's the flyer. You know, typically people can touch, taste, feel our products, and have some appetizers, and they get to meet some of the corporate staff. So it's a great way to leverage our business.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, the reason, so it's funny how you were saying, you know, like wins are going to come through, and that's the thing I do with face-to-face events. I used to run face-to-face networking events in Canberra, and I used to do this 1 monthly event on a Tuesday night. And in the middle of winter would be when I'd have the most amount of people come out. So on the worst weathered days, on the coldest ones, so Canberra winter is cold, and I would get the most amount of people come out. And here's how I would do it. I would write to everyone and say, it's on. So if you come in, flick me a quick, you know, I'm in, right? Then I'd write a list of people. Then I would tell them the day before. So I'm just checking the weather. I've noticed tomorrow is going to be 5 degrees and raining when we're supposed to be at our networking event. That's okay. Wear a heavy jacket, bring an umbrella, and it's super warm inside. And then everybody would turn up. And then I'd have people say, you know, I wanted to go straight home, but since you told me that the weather was going to be like this, I didn't have an excuse to stay home. If you didn't say anything, I could have said, oh, I couldn't because of the weather. He said, but because you told me, I couldn't use that as an excuse anymore. And that's how I get the most amount out. You tell them the weather in advance, then it's not an excuse.
I specifically remember that because that was almost to the year that you told me that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was insane, but it's just a mindset. You just keep doing it. And you just, it's a numbers game. You just show up with an attitude, and guess what? Nobody shows up. My wife and I buy a couple appetizers, and whatever, you know, nobody shows up, we take them home. Yep,
absolutely. Sales is math, right? I'm in HMP Movie Lovers. Let me see if I've got it here. I'm in HMP Movie Lovers. So apparently it's my job every week to watch movies. It's brilliant. Recommend everybody come over there. Helen.
I just love your presentation, love your enthusiasm and your willingness to rebuild teams and so on. Just wondering, tell me a little bit more about the Happy Neighborhood, or is that something I should be asking Misty?
No, recognize that.
It doesn't matter. So Happy Neighborhood Project, Edwin and Debris, this businessman in Sacramento, California, was a big networker. He's come on TEDx talks, and very successful guy, especially in direct sales. When he first interviewed me, I said, you know, Jeff Olson. He goes, I know Jeff Olson. So you know, the happiness thing kind of, but basically when the whole pandemic came about and the world went to hell, it went from a live meeting to a Zoom meeting. And then it's like people say, wait a minute, why don't we expand this all over the country? So 3.5 years ago, we went up all the way up to like 60 meetings a week through different states, you know, state specific, country specific. And that's how I blew up. And I've learned a lot as far as social media, people that have better skills than I do in technology and, you know, management, you know, all that stuff. So yeah, Happy Neighborhood Project. I co-host Tuesdays, Wednesdays, USA, which is 1 p.m. Mountain, which is go back 6 hours to you guys. We'll figure it out, but it's a next day. So
it's a networking project. Yeah.
So if you like, y'all check out my contact information on the very bottom. I put 2 of them, one my contact, and then for the Neora expansion event as well. I got the registration link for Texas H&P Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Come down, Jonah, say hello. And hey, I have to warn you, we have funny accents here in Texas, okay?
Oh, good.
Thank you.
So Happy Neighborhood Project is basically an online networking group that has about 50 free networking events a week. And it doesn't matter. You can go to any one that you like. You don't have to ask permission. You just register in, grab the Zoom link, and then you just turn up on the day. I'm with HMP Movie Lovers, so I'm one of the co-hosts over there. And we talk movies and do networking. So we have some movie trivia amongst all of our networking. And that's on a Friday night at 9 o'clock for me over there. Yep, Marion, which one are you at?
Book Lovers is good too.
Ah, yes, 2 hours later. Yeah, so 10 a.m. is mine. For you, Helen, it'd be 12 o'clock for Book Lovers. On on a Friday as well. So there's heaps of different ones. And again, you still got the normal networking and you get to speak a little bit about books as well. So you get some ideas on books. Excellent. Thank you, Gregg, so much for being allowed to be thrown under the bus and give us some more insight into you and Neora and your enjoyment of it. You see, Gregg's very passionate. He's been like this since the day I met him. It's always great to be out networking with Gregg. And thank you, audience, for participating and asking many questions as well.